All right, welcome to the ZMY Align class. We're just gonna start sitting up today. So however you normally sit comfortably, I want you to switch feet. I mean, we're already a little uncomfortable. Why not make it, just go for it. Put your hands on your lap. They can be palms facing down or palms facing up if you wanna be in a receiving mode. So this class I love because it gives me the opportunity to just kind of give you guys whatever I want, really. Focusing on the alignment and the postures, but also kind of exploring some of the other limbs of yoga. So as we sit here and focus on the breath, without judgment, without tying anything to how we're breathing or what we brought in here, just notice the quality of your breath as you sit here. And we've been focusing a lot on the mantra of peace and quiet. So I would like you to add that to your inhale and your exhale. As you inhale, think peace. And as you exhale, think quiet. Sitting up tall, reaching through the crown of the head. If this is the only time today that you have stopped to take some breaths and to be still, then that is okay. You are still winning because you are here today on your mat. These little things and just sitting here for a moment is a really big deal. They add up. And we'll take 3 more breaths here. Breathing as deeply as you can, filling up with oxygen to every cell of the body. On your next exhale, go ahead and slowly blink the eyes open and just kind of find 3 things nearby to help you ground yourself, like floor, mat, legs, whatever. Just pick a few things. Was that like torture? Was it difficult to sit there for a little bit? No, it was okay. Have any of you had time to just kind of calm down a little bit today, or has it been kind of busy? Busy? Good. Yeah, good, good, good. Okay, go ahead and lie down on your back. Take your strap with you. Just have it off to the side. We don't need to hold it just yet. We talk a lot about, in meditation, it's not like getting a massage. It's not comfortable. So it might have even been uncomfortable in the back or the knees or something like that. The benefits we get are afterwards. Go ahead and bring your knees up to your chest one at a time. Make sure the lower back is flat. And we're going to rock a little bit left to right. And then go ahead and bring your feet down to the mat. We're going to take a stretch. So straighten the legs, bring the arms overhead. I want you to kind of think about this today. So tapping into that discomfort thing, because it's hot. We would like things to be as comfortable as possible, but it gets us in a state of mind of growth when we are uncomfortable, right? So even though we're going to be using props today to help us with the alignment and the postures, I want you to kind of push yourself and get to that space of being a little bit uncomfortable, not unsafe, just a little bit of discomfort, just to see what bubbles to the surface. Bring your arms down, grab your strap. And we're gonna keep the left leg straight. Now, if you have a sore back, you can bend this knee. You have that option, but we're gonna take the strap around the right foot. And we're gonna do this modified version of Supta Hasta Padangusthasana. So you're gonna take both belts in your right hand and kick the heel up towards the ceiling. Using this belt is going to help you get your arm longer, so we can have the leg straight. Make it as long as you need. And then the left hand is going to go on the left thigh, and that leg is going to stay active. Okay. And now we'll take some breaths here. Notice where you're feeling the stretch. Notice where you're having to use strength, and then notice what your breath is doing. You can have the eyes open or closed here. If the eyes are open, keep your gaze on one spot. We'll take 3 to 4 breaths here. And then maybe you can reach a little bit higher, or if you soften the shoulders back towards the ground, that might bring you into it a little bit deeper. Everybody feeling okay here? Yeah, good. Okay, so we're gonna take it out to the side, but we need to externally rotate this leg. So rotate the toes to the right, like open. Like when you're gonna bring this leg to the floor, the toes are gonna point towards the floor and you're gonna open that way. The left hip is gonna stay, on the floor as much as it can. It's going to lift a little bit. And if your wall's in the way, just consider yourself lucky or scoot. Yeah, just scoot away from it. Good, keep the left leg active. With this right leg out to the right, see if you can bring your awareness to the hip joint and just soften it open a little bit more, even if it's just an inch or so. Just notice that separation in the hip joint. Engage the abdominals. Inhale, bring the foot back to center. And then switch hands. We're gonna grab the straps in the left hand. We can extend the right arm or just bring it out to the side. Keeping the right hip on the floor, we're gonna straighten the leg up towards the ceiling as much as we can, and then cross over the center line. When you start feeling that, your leg will tell you to stop. On the outside of the leg, when you start feeling that. Do you guys feel that? Do you feel it? Okay. All right, so here we're uncomfortable. See if you can keep the same slow, steady breath that you had in the beginning while we were sitting up and sitting still. Inhale back to center. We're gonna take a strap in each hand. And when I say we're gonna lift, don't lift yet because I want you to focus on lifting from the heart. The shoulders are gonna actually stay back. The chin and the heart are gonna lift up towards the shin, not towards the knee, not towards the thigh. When you inhale on your next inhalation, lift up, chin lifts towards the shin and bend your elbow. So lift up and bring your chin up. 1, 2, 3. Slowly lower the head down. And then release the strap from the foot and float the leg down. We'll do the other side. All right, so left foot, bring it up. We're holding both of the straps in the left hand. And then the right hand is on the right thigh or off to the side. Okay, so if you have a little bend in your knee, that's fine, but you're using a strap. So let's see if we can align everything up by kicking the heel up towards the ceiling and engaging the quadriceps. We want the quadriceps to be strong here. Notice what you're doing with the muscles in the face, the shoulders. Don't worry, I'm not going to do anything to you. you have freckles. Look at you.
I know.
Okay, are we uncomfortable yet? No? Okay, 20 more minutes here. Just kidding. Ground your right hip down and start to rotate the leg out to the left. Toes are gonna point down towards the floor as you hinge the hip open and bring the left leg out to the left. Yep, and go as far as your leg will let you safely. How do you know if it's not safe? I mean, we all know the difference between like uncomfortableness and injury, right? Yeah, okay. Because I know for me, I'm pretty protective over my inner groins here. You should tickle her feet, Emma. I'm just kidding. No, you're good. That's what we are, all friends here. Inhale, come back to center. I mean, you know, it gets pretty close sometimes, right? Switch hands. Okay, so the left arm can extend out. Bring the heel back up towards the ceiling and bring the leg as close as you can. Grab up as high as you can on the strap. And then bring the leg across the midline. And take some breaths here. The right toes are going to be pointing straight up, so the toe will not start to come out. Everything is straight up and active. Good. Another breath or two here. Notice where you're feeling the stretch. Notice where you're having to work muscularly. Inhale, come back to center. Take the strap with both hands, one in each hand. Inhale, lift, chin up towards the shin, shoulders back. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and bring the head down first. Undo the belt and then bring the foot down. Put the strap off to the side for now. Come into hugging the knees again, rocking left to right. If it feels better to even do happy baby at this point, you can do that. And then we're going to move on to a full spinal twist here. Bring the feet down, shift your hips to the left side of the mat. With the knees bent, yep, and drop the knees to the right. So you can have the arms extended or you can have the elbows bent. Try to get the knees and the hips stacked. And if that means your shoulder, your left shoulder lifts up, we could put something underneath there. Everybody's pretty much close though. Okay. And if you want to look over the left fingertips or the left direction, you can, if that's okay for your neck. Take some breaths here. Notice how the breath feels different as you're in this twist. And then also, if your hands are extended straight out, there's 2 ways we can do this. If your palms are facing up, your shoulder blades will be, flatter towards the floor. But also, if you bring the palms to the floor, you can kind of play with the broadening of the back. And that will also push the shoulders down. Now on your next inhale, use the abdominals, not the lower back, to bring the knees back to center. Feet are flat on the mat. Shift the hips back to center, and then we'll bring the hips to the right. I'm sorry, the left. Which side are we on? Bring them to the right, and the knees are to the left, right? Okay. And then stack them as much as you can. See the differences here. I mean, so this class is a little bit different in the sense where, yeah, I mean, we would just comfortably come into a twist here. See what it takes to get your hips stacked and your knees stacked. If anything, it's just going to make your arm float, which is fine because then we can put a block underneath the arm. Yeah, this arm is tighter, right? Obviously. Okay. Does that feel okay?
Yeah.
Because you can move it up and down wherever it feels all right. It would even be better if we had like another one here, but you'll be fine as long as it doesn't get tingly. Can you keep your awareness on your breath? 3 more. On that third exhale, engage the abdominals to bring the knees back up towards the ceiling, feet are flat, and then hips back to center. Good. Straighten the legs one more time, bring the arms overhead, and take one more stretch just to kind of neutralize the spine here after that twist. And then bring the arms down, bend the knees, roll onto your side, use the strength of your arms to push yourself up. And we're just gonna come right into a child's pose. Most of the stuff we do today is gonna be standing stuff. So come to hands and knees, big toes together, knees apart, sit back on the heels. And you decide if you need some stillness today or if you need a little bit of movement. Sometimes it does feel good just to roll the forehead back and forth on the mat, or even just to rock the body a little bit back and forth. You decide what you need, but everybody gets breath. Everybody's breathing here. Feel all parts of the ribs expand as you inhale. Feel the chest sink towards the mat as you exhale. Maybe even tapping back into that peace and quiet breathing as we're in this surrender pose. On your next inhale, lift the head and bring yourself to hands and knees. So I'm thinking when we hear boat pose, maybe sometimes that's just gonna, or when we hear the train, sometimes that'll just prompt me to do boat pose. I wasn't planning on doing it. That's our joke in here, Missy. Like if we hear the train, then we don't have to do boat pose, but I never go by that rule. I do sometimes. Okay, let's do our Betalasana, our cat pose. So inhale, lift the tailbone, lift the chin or the gaze. We don't want to totally bend the cervical spine. And then as you exhale, lead with the tailbone, separate the shoulder blades, drop the head completely. Take as much time as you need in each inhale and exhale. Just keep going back and forth, moving with the breath, connecting the body with the breath. And if there's a part that feels good that you need, just spend that time there. Even moving the shoulders or the hips a little bit. This is like the weirdest pose to do at the park, but it just feels so good. It's like such a staple, isn't it? I feel like, if they want to look, they'll look at this point. I usually do it so everyone's facing, like their butts are facing away from people, but mine ends up being towards people. And I'm like, I'll be the sacrificial lamb. It's okay. Do another round or two. And then let's just meet at a neutral spine. And we are going to thread the needle. I mean, we're not using the arms a ton today, but enough. So bring your right hand to the center of the mat and then inhale the left arm up just to do this counter twist. As you exhale, slide the left arm under and through, reach the fingertips as far as you can. So when we've done this pose a bunch, right? Do it in a different way, maybe. Find a way that maybe not that you love, but could be more useful, that is a little bit uncomfortable. Like maybe shift your hips to be a little bit more square. Maybe push the hand into the mat a little bit more. Something we have a tendency to do is let the neck bend here. So maybe try to keep the neck more neutral and use your strength to do that. Otherwise, let the belly hang. Keep reaching the left fingertips. And take 2 more breaths here. And then on an inhale, come back to hands and knees. And we'll take the left hand to the center, inhale the right arm up, and then exhale, slide it. Reach the fingertips as far as you can. And see if you can carry your breath in between the shoulder blades. Just another place to focus as you breathe, to try to be present on your mat. Take one more breath here. And then on an inhale, come back to hands and knees. Okay, so just some big hip circles here. Bring your hands to the front of the mat. And then we're just gonna hit like every corner of the mat and bring it into big hip circles, going clockwise and then counterclockwise. Just go, I don't know, 3 or 4 times each side. And then we'll meet back at this tabletop position so we can get ready for our down dog. So remember, fingers are spread. All of you have been in here. I mean, it's like a broken record for me for the fingers being spread and the alignment of the wrist. And then we also have 2 teachers in here. So I'm not going to focus a ton on where we put our hands. Let's curl the toes under and lift the hips up and back. Don't worry about straightening the legs. Through the tailbone, push the floor away from you. Lengthen the side ribs. And then pedal your feet here. Whatever movement your body needs for this first down dog, go ahead and do it. Get into the body, come up on the toes, press the heels down, even shift the hips, like dump them left to right. Sometimes that feels good too. And then we'll come back to stillness and our down dog. Let's inhale, look up at our hands and start to step forward. It doesn't matter if it's a big step, little step, whatever. Once we arrive at the top of our mat, can we separate our feet all the way to the edges and then grab opposite elbows? If grabbing opposite elbows causes too much rounding in the back, then just keep the fingertips. As long as you can get somewhere where the head can dangle and you could sway a little bit left to right. And bend your knees as generously as you need to for the hamstrings. Good. All right. So if you're grabbing something, go ahead and release and bring the fingertips back down to the floor. Be sure that you're lifting the sitting bones here and like you're ripping the mat apart with your feet to keep the legs strong to support the back. We're going to inhale, lift the head, and then bring our hands up to our thighs. Just get as flat of a back as you can. And then if you don't need to bend the knees here, don't. Keep strong legs. Inhale all the way up. Bring your palms together and exhale your hands in front of the heart. Good? All right, mountain pose in the front of your mat. We'll check in here for a moment and then we're going to do a couple of salutations. So inner edges of the feet are parallel. Everybody press the ball mounds of their toes and lift the toes up. Let's check out your best yoga toes. Spread the toes. And now gently place the toes. Try one at a time, all the way down. Just really get grounded through the feet. We have the bandhas that we talk about all the time. There's also blocks that we use for our feet and for our hands. Hasta Pada, right? Okay, so it's like you're suctioning your feet and really getting grounded. Lift the kneecaps. Don't lock the kneecaps, just lift them. And then from the navel up, reaching up. You can dangle the hands or you can have the hands out, whatever feels good. Just be sure that you're engaging between the shoulder blades. And then keeping everything, we'll take a couple of breaths. Feeling total alignment in the body. Evenness in the feet, the balance of the weight, front to back, even out through the fingertips. Everything just feels in complete balance. Even as if your head is floating on your neck upward. If you want an extra challenge, close your eyes if they're not closed already. And then go ahead and blink the eyes open and release the pose. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, plant the hands, step back and lower down in Chaturanga. Use your knees if you want. Go all the way down. Uncurl the toes, inhale to Cobra. And then exhale to Down Dog. We're spending 5 breaths here. Remember, you can come into Child's Pose if you want. Deep breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, look up, step forward. Exhale, fold. Press all 4 corners of the feet. Inhale, come all the way up, palms together. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Good. One more round for that. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees if you need to. Inhale, look up. And exhale, step back, lower down in your Chaturanga. Elbows kiss the sides of the body. Inhale up. And exhale back for 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, look up, step forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, palms together. And exhale, hands in front of the heart. Good. Are we warmed up now? All right, get your block. We're going to start with triangle. For the, I don't, have you been in a line class before? So you, okay, because these, like, sometimes we only do like 5 poses, seriously. If we like go real, like we go deep, okay, but you're using a lot of muscle, just not a ton of movement, right? And you guys keep coming back for more. I'm always like, okay, so I want you to actually turn sideways on your mat. You can face the windows or the wall, whatever. Okay, so everybody chose the wall, which is, I mean, that's normally what we do. So with the right leg. All right. Your right toes are going to face the back of the wall, back of the room. Yeah, the back wall. Oh, look at this perfect spot right here for me. Okay. The back toes, you know, sometimes we see that the foot is parallel, but we actually need a little bit of an internal rotation here because we're not bending at the waist here, right? We have to actually bend into the hip socket. Bring your block to the outside of the right shin. You might not use it, but we're all going to start there, okay? Thighs are going to be engaged, externally rotated. And if you want to get really crazy like this, I'm not even joking about the crazy alignments. You're like, how can we get crazier than this? Your shins actually rotate forward as your thighs rotate out, right? Because you're pressing the ball mounds of the big toes. But let's just focus on the thighs. Inhale, extend the arms. Exhale, reach forward, deepen the right groin. Reach forward, reach forward. You're gonna have to shift the hips a little bit and then bring your hand down to the block. From here, stack the shoulders, left fingertips up. Now, if you feel like you have enough room, like you're not squishing your lower part here, like bring your breath to your right ribs to extend. Yeah, okay. If you feel like you can lengthen through the crown of your head and deepen your right groin, Then you can flatten the block. Okay, and we're gonna take like 3 or 4 breaths here. We continue to deepen the right groin, lengthen through the crown of the head to make those right ribs really long. And then we soften the top ribs. We want to try to find that mountain pose or Tadasana spine in our triangle. Can I touch you? Let me see what you look like with your block up a little bit higher. Okay, so now I'm able to probably stack your shoulders. Yeah, there we go. All right, one more breath. Is this okay in your shoulder? Okay. Is it uncomfortable but safely? Okay. Press your feet away from each other and act like somebody's pulling you up from your left pinky. Good. Okay, bring the right toes in, but first grab your block. And then pivot your left toes out. Block goes on the outside of the foot. And so now that I'm over here, I can kind of show you guys. So like this left hip crease here, that's what we're trying to deepen, deepen, deepen. And so my tendency is to see how I have no Tadasana spine, right? If I deepen the groin and soften the top ribs, Tadasana spine, right? Okay, so that's what we're aiming for. Deepen here, reach here, and then tip to the block. Good, thighs are engaged. Try to soften the top ribs, lengthen through the crown of the head, and breathe. You can find a focus point, your drishti, or wherever. It just stare at one spot. Doesn't have to be somewhere specific. Can be your hand if you want. You guys look great. Can you find that slow, steady breath that we did in the beginning? Press the feet away from each other and then pop yourself back up to standing. Good. See if you can hop to the front of your mat. Okay. The next one we're going to do is side angle pose. So, oh, I thought you were scoffing at me. Would it be the first? I know, I'm always like, yeah, let's do it. Oh, for crying out loud. Okay, so again, take your right foot up and out. We're just gonna go in that same pattern. The right toes are gonna point towards the back of the mat. So you can either use the block with this modification, or you can just go down to your thigh, honestly. Okay, this one is a little bit wider of a stance because we want the butt to go behind the knee, so there's not pressure on the knee. So you're either gonna go here, not open here, or you can stay right here, okay? But we're looking for a side angle, right? So am I at a side angle when I'm here? Am I now? Right? Like you drop that back heel, you press the back heel and you reach through the fingertips, energetically 2 different directions. So inhale, extend the arms. And then exhale, bend the knee and either come down to the outside of the foot or forearm to the arm, and then left arm up and over. And you guys automatically have, like you all have it. You can even drop the back heel a little bit and find more of that lengthening. Good. And then rotate your chest open towards the ceiling just a little bit more. And to get the shoulder grounded in the socket, we're going to rotate the pinky towards the floor. Amazing. Take one more breath. Bandha's pelvic floor is lifted, scoop the belly in and up. Press the feet, inhale, come up. None of you used your block here, so just go right into the other side. Pivot the right toes in and the left toes out. And then extend the arms, exhale, bring the left arm where you want it, and then the right arm up and over. Good. Nice. Drop the butt enough to where the knee can really bend at that 90-degree angle. Good. And feel that connection of energetically, the fingertips are active, the back heel is active, and then rotate your chest up towards the ceiling. One more breath here. Bandhas. Press the feet, inhale, come up, hop to the front of your mat. How are you doing, Dawn?
I'm doing okay, but I missed that last rotation. You're a little out. So I'm hoping I did it right.
Well, you're familiar with the side angle.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Okay. So I'm sure you did it great.
Sure. Good confidence.
Yeah, you've been in here before. Okay. Yes. Confidence. Okay. Take your block. We're going to do a Parsvottanasana. So left leg is going to come back. We want the angle to be up towards the left corner, kind of. The most important thing here is that we give our hips enough room, right? If I'm on a tightrope here, I'm not going to be able to, I mean, I could if I have the flexibility, but I need more room for my hips. The block is going to go right here, and we may or may not use it. Okay. So let's start with our hands on our waist. Thighs are active, pressing the ball mound of the big toe, outer edge of the back foot. Inhale, lengthen. Same thing as sinking of the hips. Sink this right hip back, keep the pelvis parallel to the floor, and then come down to the block if you need it. If you don't need a block, then you could even just keep your hands behind your back. Yeah. Good. So with the front leg straight, activate the thighs so we're not locking the knee out. So if you have to do a micro bend, do a micro bend. Keep the shoulder blades working towards each other. Keep pressing the feet away from each other. Deepen the right groin and lower the left hip. Press the feet, inhale, come up. How is this, okay? You can just keep your hands where they are, hop your feet back, and then do the other side. Inhale, lengthen. And then watch what happens as I go down. Do you see my left hip is up? We want to keep it straight. So go ahead and fold forward and try to keep that parallel. Yeah, deepen the left groin. Come forward. And if your feet are pressing away from each other and your bandhas are activated, that's going to help your lower back and protect the lower back. Take another breath or two here. Press the feet away from each other. Inhale, come up. And then exhale back to the front of your mat. How was that? Okay? Wasn't torturous? You guys are much better students than I am. You should have heard me in that booty class yesterday. All right, put your block off to the side. We're going to use the strap for a couple of balancing. All right, this is where I become the seamstress. So I always feel like with the strap around me. Okay, so we're going to do the Utthita-hasta Padangusthasana. So we did lying down, hand to big toe pose, right? We're going to do it standing up, but I'm not going to make you guys do it without a strap. You get to use a strap today if you need it. If you can go here, here, and here, don't use the strap. Just grab the big toe, okay? Otherwise, use the strap, make your arm longer. And be honest with your body. Like, it's totally okay to use props. Pressing through the ball mount of the big toe. And also use a wall still if you want or need to. Because here with the alignment, like there are some classes where we just go for it, right? And keep the knee bent. In the alignment class, we're trying to see what it feels like in the full expression of the posture, whatever that means for your body. Good. And then when you're ready, I'm sure we've taken 5 breaths here. Same thing, rotate the toes back and out to the side. That way our butt doesn't lift up, keeps it sinking in. That was good though, that was good. Get uncomfortable here. If you can go out further to the side, do it, or lift higher. Inhale back to center. We're going chin to shin again. So exhale, lift up. 1, 2, 3, and release. Woo, good stuff. All right, how did you guys feel with that, using the strap? Like, do you normally use a strap for that one? Okay.
I'm used to, like, you know, like we do go through that, like doing it really fast. So it's,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yes, it is. And I mean, in a normal class, we might even say, like, grab your knee, right? But if you're up here, why not try this, you know, and slow it down. All right. So go ahead, see where you are on the side. And grab as high up on the strap as you can. Try to have a straight arm as if you're grabbing a toe. And then shoulders back. Good, keep breathing. Inhale out to the left, nice and slow. Inhale back to center. Exhale, chin to shin. 1, 2, 3, and release. That was awesome. That was so good. Were you practicing out where you were camping, right? Weren't you camping? I did camp, but not the. Yes, and sometimes it's weird because sometimes we just go away from the mat for a little bit and then we come back and we're like, wow, I couldn't do this last time. Like, the body just starts to absorb it. Okay, put your straps down. We're gonna do tree pose or options. Obviously, you have the options of anywhere except for the kneecap. If you're doing up here, be sure you're in and up. You also have the option to do this, okay? Half lotus. And use a wall if you want. So no straps for this one, but I will say, be sure that your foot is straight, because check this out. Oh, I think I just ripped my pants. I ripped my pants. This is being recorded. I'm sorry to whoever's watching this. Okay, so no, see how my knee is going that way, even though my foot is like straight? Imagine putting years of pressure on my knee going that way. So I want to micro bend and activate my quadriceps so my knee's not taking it. So that's like the goal. As much activation and pressing the ball mound of the big toe as you can. And sometimes that means we have, if we're being like totally true like that, we have to hold the wall, and that's fine. Yep, and then lift the chest. Yes. Bring your hip in and up. Sarah, in and up. Mm-hmm. Do what you want with your hands. After you take a few more breaths, I mean, you could even bring some movement into it if you want, but after you take a few more breaths, we're all going to end up with our hands in front of the heart. And then point the knee forward. Point the toes, extend the leg. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Aha, I didn't see that curveball coming. Look at this beautiful tree pose. Torture. All right, find your tree on your other side, however you want to do it. Just watch your feet, watch your alignment. Like, that's what we're doing in here, is we're checking it out, we're dissecting it. Good. And remember, your leg doesn't have to go all the way out here. The hips need to stay straight. If my knee comes out and my hips start to move, then I need to back out of it a little bit. So that's fine. Yeah, the game slips. Yes, do what you want with your arms, or just keep the breath. And if you fall back out, go back in. Everyone bring their hands back to their heart center. Knee forward, extend the leg, point the toes, lift as high as you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Good. One more thing standing up, and then we're going to go back down. Take your block and take a wide stance on your mat. All the wide stance stuff. Doesn't matter which direction you face, because we're not doing right or left. We're doing Prasarita Padottanasana, wide leg forward fold. So we're going to do the arms first, and then we're just going to come forward without the arms. Okay, so grab your strap. If I didn't say that, I'm sorry. So we're going to be all set up with the block and the strap. Okay, starting with your hands right outside of your hips, but the arms straight. That could change whether your arms are tight. If they're not tight, if they're pretty open, your hands will probably stay here. Toes are pointing forward. Thighs are engaged and lifted. The butt is engaged. You're going to keep lifting the sitting bones. We're going to inhale and lengthen. And then exhale, send the hip creases back. Spine stays exactly the same. Start to bring the arms up and over. Drop the head. Good. And go as far as you like here. Try to bring your awareness to the shoulder joints, just like you did with the hip sockets, and see if you can soften and release a little bit more. Yeah. The legs stay strong. That's the muscular action, but you can let go here in the arms. Take one more breath. Press the feet. Engage the abdominals. Inhale all the way up. Drop the strap. Hands on the waist. Keep the legs where they are. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Hands go down to the block. Everybody, even if you have the mobility here and the flexibility, re-strengthen the legs. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Shoulders back. Exhale, hinge. Now move your block if you can. If you start to feel rounding in the thoracic spine and the upper back, then just use the block higher. It's okay. Once you arrive where you're good, then drop the head. Feel the legs working here. You're ripping the mat apart with your feet. The sitting bones are lifting. No yoga butt in my classroom. It's like, it feels like you're spreading the sitting bones apart, but also pressing them towards each other too, to keep that support for the hamstring attachments. One more breath. Let the head dangle for another breath. Inhale, look up. Good. Exhale here. Inhale, bring your hands to your waist, come all the way up. Nice strong legs, strong back. And then exhale, come back to Tadasana. That was great, you guys. Thanks for coming to my party. All right, back at the front of the mat. We're gonna separate the feet and come down into Malasana pose. That's the name of her business. That's why I know it's her favorite. So your toes can be pointing out here. Inhale, bring the arms up. Palms together. Exhale, we're gonna squat down. Lift the heels if you need to. Separate the feet, sit on a block, whatever you need to do. All right, so with the elbows on the insides of the knees and the palms together. If you can do this with your heels down, do it. Otherwise, lift the heels. It might help actually for this. We're gonna come into a twist. So left hand down, pressing the knee open, opening the chest, right fingertips up. Right hand down, inside the knee here, press it open as you twist and inhale the left fingertips up. Good. Left hand down. If you guys want to get crazy. So two options. We can either sit down here and start to lie down. If you want to try a bind here, you can. So thumb pointing down, elbow pointing up, reach behind. Good. And then look over the right shoulder. Release. How's your ankles doing? Good. All right, get the knee to the armpit, thumb down, elbow up, and then reach behind. Yes. And if you don't get it today, that's fine. You're still opening the shoulders. Go ahead and release. Have a seat. Use your hands to support you. Smack the feet a little bit on the ground. Woo. And have a lie down. Take a stretch. We're going to bring the arms down and do one more hug of the knees. Be sure the lower back is flat. Rock a little bit left to right. And then bring the feet down. We need to add our back bend here. So we are going to do bridge twice, 5 breaths each. Bend the knees. Get the heels hip width apart or so. Good. Shoulder blades are flat. Press the inner edges of the feet, press the heels. On your next inhale, lift the pelvis up towards the ceiling. And then if you can walk your shoulders closer together and maybe lift the ribs a little bit higher towards the face, you can do that. Take your 5 breaths. And then lower the pelvis down first. Unwind the spine. Okay, so the second time we go up, we're going to act as if we have a block that we're squeezing between the knees to keep the knees and the ankles and the hips all lined up with each other. So prepare, take a breath. And then inhale, lift. Squeeze the block between the thighs. Press the heels and the inner edges of the feet. Keep lifting. 5 breaths here. Deep, deep breaths. Lower down when you're done. Pelvis first. Unwind the spine. Take a breath here before you hug the knees. Let everything settle. And then if you want to come into hugging the knees, happy baby, go ahead and do that. One last hip opener before we come into Shavasana. And if you feel like your body needs one more thing here, go ahead and do that. Doesn't matter what it is. And so prepare for our last pose of the class, our Shavasana. Take 3 deep breaths here, in and out through, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just breathe in as deeply as you can. Separate the lips and exhale. Again, breathe in deeply. Exhale. Last one, whatever you're holding on to that you don't want to keep, gather it up, let it leave on the exhale. And feel the muscles soften away from the bones. As if each time you exhale, the muscles are melting away from the bones. And then feel the bones settling to the back of the body. And for the next few moments, as your mind wanders, don't be hard on yourself about that. Know that it's going to happen. Just let yourself be. Check in with the body. See how your body feels after your practice. Just observe. Allow your inhalations to begin to deepen. Find long, slow exhales. And then when you're ready, you can begin to slowly wiggle the fingers and the toes, being careful to wake the body gently. Move into the wrists, the ankles, and then maybe take another stretch or a hug of the knees if you like. When you feel motivated to do so, you can roll onto your side using your arm as a pillow. We're just gonna enjoy these last few moments of stillness and quiet.
Sorry, I had yoga cat attack. I wiggled my fingers and toes and she attacked my fingers. So much for Sravasana.
Oh, darn, I was hoping you at least